You'd never actually stop and like go to sleep.
Why the fuck did you start me off on this, Mitch?
Wait, it was 5 and 6. I only watched 5. Fuck, you rolled a 13.
Are we actually in the Bible?
Okay, I'm
Children with
the
wills?
Mind Palace.
Did you say
that I just crucified Jesus
I
Christ?
don't want to say it out
Did you say I nailed a
loud,
command
because that might
to a
sound
cross?
like
I don't even know what to call it. Like lowborn. They're common.
Fleshy necks.
Jesus Christ.
It's such a level.
Fleshy necks.
We have a theoretical magic trick.
Flesh mechs is disgusting. Never say that.
Flesh neck.
To
Welcome
fish
everybody back to Mitch. You can make a fun little intro for this segment.
and hope that the
What
Ava
the
juice
is going
wills
on with
a new
Ray
body
Ayanami?
into existence.
I like
And
that.
she's getting bullied by a grown man.
Oh, kid, you got hit.
I mean, what do I mean?
Whoa.
Grown man is bullying.
You! Get your ass back here.
Oh, he's in there.
Like and subscribe. Find a new victim.
All right, Mitch can't hear me anymore. I still don't understand how this works.
He gets no congratulations. The fact he's actually walked out.
I'm not going to lie to anybody here. Don't tell Mitch. Mitch definitely
is setting
can't hear
in
me
again.
anymore. I don't know.
That I started over.
Just come
Like I think this is the funniest thing you've ever done to somebody.
No, thank you. Welcome back, or welcome to Pro and Noob, the Mitch 692 channel. Mitch 692, Jarod, whichever way. I don't know which way he is. He's somewhere on screen.
Your
You can
one
find
last
him.
ride.
You
Yeah.
can. One last ride, yeah.
One
I
last
almost
ride
said
with
you can
Evangelion.
find you at the Nerd Academy podcast. It's like I said that, so why am I replying to myself? I had a right brain fart then.
That's funny. It's like that one clip of that one football player who sneezes. He goes, "Oh, bless you, thank you," and then keeps going with the interview. Like blesses and thanks himself.
I forgot about that.
It's one of my favorite clips on the internet of all time. But
I have a bone to pick with you.
a bone to pick with me.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
Right. We finished recording Thrice. And I said, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Then you were going to say something and you didn't tell me and you hung up. And you've left me dangling like a tit in a breeze for a week.
Oh, that's a new one I've never heard before. Okay.
Never heard a tit in a breeze.
Nope. No. So I will say, and it's always been one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of ways to get cringe tattoos of like Japanese kanji. And it's one of those things that it's like, it's something it was one of those, like, I like it aesthetically, but I also want it to actually have some amount of significance.
Yeah. You don't want like number 45 on you. No.
Yeah. Or like Ariana Grande, who infamously has the word barbecue on her finger. And I think she thought it meant like resilience or something. And I like, the more and more I was watching the show, the more and more I was loving it. And the more and more I truly fell in love with that intro sequence. And, and I think one of my biggest hurdles, or not one of my biggest hurdles, but one that was like really much a culture shock for me is that, the anime that I have watched before, a considerable amount of Dragon Ball Z, I think like the first half or so of My Hero Academia.
It's about the first stuff. You're at Overhaul, right?
The arc after Overhaul is the last time I saw.
Yeah, it's just about halfway, yeah.
Just about halfway. That's what I thought. I had never had like the cognitive dissonance of an intro, its music, and the show's actual tone and themes be so jarring. Because again, like the music in this show, a lot of the original orchestrations, there is an exuberance to it that is just so out of touch with the contents of this show. These very big idea themes about self-imposed isolation and self-actualization and our relationship to our fellow man, with apocalyptic stakes. The amount of times where throughout the show, like if we forget about the intro even for a little bit, the amount of times where like something very serious was going on and there was just this like really fun, like almost ska sounding trumpet going that, was just so fun and exuberant, and somebody's having the worst experience of their entire life. They're like, as I joked before, like whenever Shinji has his, when he's consumed by the magic Ava juice, and he's having his he's micro dosing human instrumentality.
Great way of putting it. Yeah.
There's just that really funky, just I made it sound like "Come Down" by Anderson .Paak, but it almost sounds like "Come Down" by Anderson .Paak, and like Shinji's like having this like visceral psychic bombardment about his relationship to himself and to his father and to the people around him, and he's having to question like whether or not his relationship with all the women around him is like sheerly sexual or how much compassion. Like it's all these big, very big ideas, just smacking you in the face, and it is just this funky fucking bass line that is here to knock your fucking pants, socks, and underoos off. And the music like that was something that I focused on so much that consumed me. And I do, and I say that as the starting point of all of that to say, I have been pondering an Evangelion tattoo.
Wow.
Now I have like 3 or 4 other pieces that take precedent over that, just because they've all been on the back burner. I need my red lightsaber on my left arm. People have seen the blue one on the right arm. Because I have the Jedi symbol over here. I have a blue lightsaber here. I want to get the red one where I have the Sith symbol. There's a Jar Jar tattoo I want to get. Kaysen and I want to get like fun matching Lego tattoos because we are gay like that. And I'm allowed to make that joke. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's an aesthetic I love, but I want it to be connected, as most tattoos I want it to be connected to a piece of art that affected me deeply. And, the idea of like become legend young boy or young man, I can't remember how exactly it's phrased. It's like that crossed my mind. There's a couple, and I wanted to hammer that home that like, I obviously sit here before you with 1, 2, 3, 4 Star Wars tattoos with at least 5 others that I want. I've had the idea for a Superior Spider-Man tattoo that I've wanted for a very long time. There's a Batman tattoo I want to get. There are like that. It is important to me that I make it very clear. And I'm happy to kind of start this conversation with like, that is the degree to which this story affected me. Is that it is in contention with Star Wars and Spider-Man and Batman and, the music of Kendrick Lamar and Childish Gambino, other 2 things that I have like very elaborate tattoo ideas for, that it may have worked its way into that echelon. And again, that's why I said I have been considering it. There have been other ideas that I've kind of gone, I don't think I need that actually. But
just get a dusty little corner. Everyone will know.
But yeah, no, that was my thing. Is that I like that's how deeply affected by the story I have been.
I'm impressed by that actually. Was not expecting that one. Did not give that impression off whatsoever for the last 6 months.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think it's part of the format of this show is that I spent so much of it chasing my own ass. You
did, yeah.
And again, it's a feature, not a bug. There was also the rule that you kind of imposed once I brought up the idea of I feel like I need to revisit this real quick, and you went, I would prefer that you don't. that you prefer it be one and done sittings that I can revisit on my own time later, but you didn't want me to get too bogged down, which in the grand scheme of things, I understand because, and this is not me patting myself on the back, but just using past as prelude, I think some of the fun of this show of me being driven insane by trying to understand it goes out of the window if I'm allowed repeat viewings, because I think I would have started to understand this a lot faster if I was allowed to sit down and rewatch certain episodes. Again, I was very early on when I no-scoped Rei Ayanami being a clone of Yui Ikari. So, like, I'm glad that
you got something right straight off the bat before we even started. And I can't for the life of me think of what it was.
Was it something I said in the first episode?
It was, yeah.
Like episode 0 that we're going to revisit.
Yeah, the 0
today.
one, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to do that. But
I want to say something with Gendo. I could be completely wrong. But
I think I say something about Gendo being evil. I mean...
no, there was something apart from that. I just can't remember what.
I mean, I make it very clear I do not trust him early on. That I have... which I was but no.
Let's just rebuild Gendo. Rebuild Gembo. Gendo's like a little softy at heart.
Rebuild Gendo hits a trope that I love, and that is what gives him a lot of grace. I've made the joke on this show before about Asuka, about Gendo. I jokingly refer to it as like the Penelope Featherington effect, which we've talked about before, where it is, the argument I got into with my girlfriend when she was trying to show me Bridgerton, where like every episode I was talking about how angry Penelope Featherington made me, and she started to get upset by it. She's like, she's one of my favorite characters, and I'm really upset that you hate her. And I was like, I want to make one thing clear. Penelope Featherington, the person within this story, is infuriating to me. I am reacting to her, which means that it is making me feel a lot of big feelings, which is high marks for this show, and it's something, and that is very true of Asuka early on, is very true of Gendo Ikari, where it is you keep eliciting very big reactions, very big feelings out of me, which is a testament to the writing. And it's important to me, especially at the end here, that I know it became a bit of like, oh, Jarod hates Asuka, but like, I wanted to be very clear that Gendo and Asuka both are characters that they frustrated me within the narrative. I did not have issues with their writing or how they are presented within the text. It was as characters they frustrated me on a very human level, and I think it is what makes them compelling. I do not talk about Asuka or Gendo or Penelope fucking Featherington in the same way that, to use a Star Wars example, I talk about Savage Opress. I think I am on the record multiple times saying that Savage might be one of my all-time least favorite Star Wars characters because everything compelling about him goes out the window once he becomes Darth Maul's stooge. I saw
anyway, right?
What?
It's just yellow Maul.
It's yellow Maul devoid of 90% of the complexity, especially considering the fact that his background is just as, if not more tragic than Maul, which somehow makes his like over the top, unquestioning fealty with no personality a little bit more frustrating. I've softened on that take a little bit. Having, again, going back through the Clone Wars with Taylor, but I maintain a lot of that. It's just the intensity is turned down a little bit.
You got past that initial reaction of it.
Yeah. And again, I have a much easier time appreciating Savage now for what does work.
Rewatch Evangelion again. No.
Again, that is a high bar to clear. It was a lot, and it's a reason why I think I've had such a hard time revisiting a lot of media that I've covered, even on my show. Is that I think on some level, things that I do sincerely love, a lot of movies, a lot of television, I have loved covering. I've loved talking about with you and a bunch of my friends. It's been a lot of fun doing those things. It has always been difficult for me to revisit it because there's a part of me that feels like, oh, I did that, and that there's a kind of like a homework element to it, which is a me problem that I need to break.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But I arrive at the end. with a lot of feelings. I said, I can finally, I can finally do one of my favorite things, which is listen to other people who are more familiar with a piece of art, expound upon the art. And, I watched that Sock Sensei video, which I thought was incredible. We talked about it last week. It was very vindicating to hear somebody go, oh, just because you don't understand all of like the mechanics of the universe doesn't mean that you didn't understand what it was about.
Yeah.
Which was very, very validating. It was very validating.
There's, I want to say, I'm certain Prime's got it, because I'm certain they brought it out at the same time as Thrice, if not just before. But there's a whole thing with like Arno, like talking about the franchise as a whole, and it's really fucking good.
I'd like to see that. I would very much like to see that.
I can't remember what it's called, but I just know certain Prime's got it. No.
Well, definitely. Well, I figure out that name, and I would like to experience that. There was another video. I cannot remember the name of the channel. The video is called Why I Ran from Evangelion. And I believe it's just over 2 hours long. I did not finish it yet. I was watching it at work.
I've seen that video floating about. I never watched it, I don't think.
It's very good. It's very good. It's very, very good. And I was liking it very much. I just didn't get a chance to finish it yet. But there was another element of that felt very validating for me as a fan, because he mentions, or he's like, he basically says, it, not necessarily in as many words, what I had been saying last week of, there's kind of a come down from going, okay, I understand what's happening with these characters, but I'm so distracted by not understanding what is happening that it is distracting. And he was talking about like, that there is something very fun about rewatching like tranches, to use a knowledge fight Alex Jonesism, tranches of episodes to you understand the emotional truth of what's going on. You can, going back and just focusing on like AT fields and LCL and S2 drives and you're just focusing on all of the gobbledygook. And again, it was one of those moments where, and I will say, like that was a boundary pusher and a comfort zone thing for me. I think is because so much of the fiction that I love the most and it resonate with me the most, I have such an intimate understanding of those universes. That you can throw a curveball at me in Marvel or Star Wars or whatever, and
what was that one planet called?
Which one?
That one planet. You know the one. You didn't know the one, but you know the one. Certainly it was a planet.
Oh, Alfrona?
That's the one, yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. You can throw a curveball, yeah, Alfrona.
I can't believe we've gone 6 months. I truly thought we would have hit a fucking Alfrona joke a lot sooner than the last Evangelion episode.
Like the Far, I hold things back.
Truly. But
that wasn't even intentional. I was just trying to remember when he fucking says it.
But yeah. But those are one of those things. So like this brand new universe, and I'm like, and again, like this show is so choosy and is so fickle.
Good word
with when it is hard science fiction. Again, the Why I Ran from Evangelion video, like it very early on makes a Dune comparison, and I believe I said that a week or two ago, where it's like it is one of those like we are playing with rules that are not hard coded in traditional sci-fi or fantasy, and it is such a specific blur of the two that you just got to kind of yes and it, and and it is what it is, and it is kind of hard. And I found myself having a moment where it challenged me in a way where Force Center, one of, if not the best Star Wars podcast out there, Joseph Scrimshaw, Ken Knapsack, and Jennifer Landa. Their work is incredible. And if you listen to anything I say about Star Wars and aren't listening to Force Center, fix that. But I believe Ken Knapsack has said before, that like people get too hung up in hyperdrives and things like that, and like the internal mechanics and technology and gobbledygook and whatever, that they miss the themes and they miss the point of the story and get too hung up on these little bits of lore and trivia that you can use to leverage yourself as a bigger fan than somebody else. And I agree with that so much. I think I think so much of the poisonous discourse about Star Wars, and so much of like the gateway drug to the really ugly shit, is being angry at the story for not comporting to how you understood certain lore elements to play. Not story, not character, lore. Coyote Mundi Gate is a prime example of that so much about that story went out the fucking window because we're all litigating Conehead's age. And I realize that on some level I am a bit of a hypocrite because I thump my chest about that so often. I could tell you the age of death, species, and name of just about everybody who you've seen on the Jedi High Council in the prequel trilogy. But I then, talk out of both sides of my mouth and go, but don't get bogged down in that. Don't get bogged down in that. This is about character. This is about feelings. This is about story. It's about ideas.
Yeah, but it's one thing knowing that and having that on the side as well. You can do both, but it's the gatekeeping with it. It's the acting like you're better than someone else. Like, no, if you don't know this, you're not a real fan. Nonsense.
No, for sure. And I agree with everything you're saying. For me, though, I did realize that I think I there was a hamstring effect for me because I didn't understand. And because I was so insistent on, I need to understand. And granted, like the religious stuff, I was really trying to get to the bottom of metaphor. Again, I got
there's a lot of metaphors there. I tried to tell you stuff, but you weren't listening.
There is a lot of metaphor at the start. I think, and we'll talk about it when we revisit the episode 0. When I got so hung up on Lilith on the cross, and I was like, this has to be representative of something, and it was. I just thought it was going to be to the bigger overarching themes. Again, I went into this based off of that trailer. Again, especially that image of Lilith on the cross, thinking, this is so much more about the idea of creation than it was. And, there are entire episodes where I missed big ideas and big themes because I'm so distracted by wanting to understand how all of it works. Again, the first, like episode 1, where the fact that Unit 1 moves of its complete own volition went over my head because I yada in the wrong fucking direction.
You did. I remember it well. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
I felt really bad for trying to point it out. And I'm like, oh.
Well, but I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did because that would have delayed my understanding of this show by so much. Because that first kind of slap in the face of the robot moved on its own because it's not a fucking robot was so crucial, I think, to me being able to go, okay, I need to let this go. I need to just focus on characters and ideas. And it took me a while to do that. And yeah, like that was another thing that I found very productive for me as somebody who loves, consuming media and, film and television, that this was a very useful exercise for me, just on that front alone, of being pushed so far out of my comfort zone, and having to wrap my head around these mechanics of a universe that I have zero familiarity with, 0 point of reference for. And
it's fine. No one does. No.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot there that I value about this as somebody who likes to semi-professionally talk about movies and TV on the internet, and pray that I don't sound like an absolute dunce when I do it.
It's part of the charm, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if you don't sound like a bit of an idiot, then it's not relatable.
For sure. I mean, and again, I can wax poetic about the sequel trilogy all day and night. At some point, I do think people come back to my channel because they're like, yeah, this guy gets it, but he also won't shut the fuck up about Star Killer. Is that the two things can be true in once of it all? Of like, this is why Rey Skywalker rules. Also, give me Star Killer. That at the end of the day, I am. What did you say? Elevated edgelord.
Something like that. I can't.
Yeah, because I wanted to put it in my Twitter bio and it wouldn't fit. But yeah, do you want to kind of hop, skip, and jump around?
Yeah, I mean, you literally gave me no choice, but sure, go for it.
I mean, you can tell me to take it down. Yeah.
I can't remember it blasted loud in my headphones.
Pro and new. I've been waiting to hear.
I can't remember where it starts.
The name of the show.
Which chapter it's in.
Project I've said yes to.
There's me trying to find the chapter, and I actually can't bring it up.
I had no idea until this very moment.
Okay.
What it was
also
called.
trying to do it, and it's not coming up.
Yeah, I thought Armin might say something, so I was like, I'm going to keep this from him.
I also think it's hilarious that I didn't know until the day we recorded it what the name of this show would be.
No. I'll be honest, I hadn't decided for a long time. No.
Okay, so I was right on robots.
No, you weren't right on robots, not in the slightest. No.
Slightly right.
They're not
almost
robots. Right. Nothing about them
that was
is
a whole ass
mechanical.
building.
That was a whole ass building, yeah. I could not believe that this didn't get claimed, by the way. I was waiting for it as well. I've been waiting for it.
I apologize that it's eating the quality, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Pause it.
This.
Trey?
Do you remember what you said here?
No, I don't.
This is going to be interesting. Also, rare appearance of Jarod in a t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. See, the funny thing is, like, I get so the little peek behind the curtain of like real life Jarod. My day job, our inventory guy has been out because he threw out his back. He had a pre-existing back injury, and then this summer aggravated it quite badly. And as a result of that, I've been trying to like pick up the slack in the stock room as much as I can. And the gentleman, Carlos is his name. Carlos is very good at his job. And I don't end up putting away a lot of shipment at the store, but I end up doing a lot of like the stuff we got to send out. I end up taking care of, and it gets really fucking warm back there, at least for me, because like the temperature will increase a little bit and I sweat and I get miserable. So I had started wearing t-shirts to work a lot more lately instead of like wearing the Roosevelts, even though if you pay attention, a lot of the t-shirts I wear are also Roosevelt's t-shirts, like the one in episode 0.
That didn't surprise me in the slightest. I just wasn't aware that they actually did t-shirts. I thought it was all like
the t-shirts are killer. The t-shirts are fucking killer. But all of that
like
to say,
60 quid each or something, like, or 60.
No, actually, they're not nowhere near as expensive as the button downs. Yeah, I think they're only like $30, which like it's also like really high quality material. Listen, I don't want to turn this into Roosevelt's ad. Here's my thing. You get what you
are a Roosevelt's ad.
I know, but you get what you pay for. You truly get what you pay for. Like, if I can get somebody who is as shrewd as Spencer Simpson to be like, oh, these are good, and I get why they're so expensive. Anybody can be made to understand it. Even my dad. And my dad will haggle somebody over a packet of ketchup. And my dad put one on for the first time when I got him one for Christmas a couple years ago. And he went, I get it. Nice. You get what you pay for. Nice. Anyway, I want to see what I said. That is so revelatory.
Really cool.
Good stuff.
I have no idea what in the actual fuck I just looked at.
That might carry on throughout the show. It did. It did. Very much so.
Okay, so I was right about robots.
No, you weren't.
I was right about robots.
Yeah.
I watched a building get completely fucking glassed.
You did.
Not quite a building either.
I saw a robot with a sword. That was sick.
Yeah.
That was sick.
I can't remember the sword.
The animation looks
I think it was a
breathtaking.
knife.
Just from what I'm seeing so far, it looks really, really beautiful.
Oh, thank God.
So like I'm getting a speculative sci-fi.
Kind of.
No.
I'm getting
Kinda.
I mean, you speculated and it's sci-fi. Does that count? I think that's the closest you get to being right on that front.
I mean, it is sci-fi. Like the I was expecting a little bit more in the not too distant future. You know, very like they're very much like Back to the Future. It is, for all intents and purposes, the world we live in, but with a couple extra bells and whistles we haven't invented yet.
Yeah.
Is, you know, my definition of speculative sci-fi, at least. But
cyber military outfit. I can't tell if homeboy with the shiny glasses is friend or foe. So that's kind of,
which is definitely a take, by
trying
the
to
way.
figure that bit out. What else? What else am I getting from the trailer? Let me just kind of skim through it as I speak again here.
Would you like? Let me see if I can find.
It's very, very Zero Suit Samus with the pilot uniforms. It looks like a mechanic who's not supposed to be a pilot becomes a pilot. Love a story like that. It's giving Bodhi Rook. It's giving Rose Tico.
Kind of right. No.
I see you say that. I was about to see, like, man, Bodhi and Rose are the last Star Wars characters I would compare Shinji Ikari to today.
Bless you.
Holy
I was thinking more like Rose Tico, but he's not even really Rose.
No. I mean, there's a little bit of that, fight for what you love, not destroy what you hate.
Yeah.
Like, he gets there at the end, but like I was seeing so much of that like timid underdog trope that is so not the point.
Nope. No.
This looks cool as hell. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch this one quickly to see. It's like fast forward because this one was all spoilers. No.
I can't.
What
I'm watching there?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's just all spoilers. No, say
be his friend. Was that a monster? Was that a monster like fucking up one of these?
Right, I'm not showing you that trailer because that trailer has spoilers for something else. And
what did it have spoilers for? What did it show?
I genuinely can't remember what trailer it was. No.
Okay.
So
I think it might have had some rebuild in it.
Monsters.
Okay.
It looks like robots are fighting monsters. There's young ladies. They're jamming out on some headphones. I
totally thought Shinji was a girl in that show.
don't trust glasses guy.
Yeah, there it is. I don't trust glasses guy.
Why is that a crucifixion?
That is a canon event. Is that a crucifixion? Is a canon event?
That one Ultraman episode has led to this moment.
Dozens of people who have tried to politely go, it's not about that, and me going, fuck you, it has to be.
What I'm thinking.
Because I was reading something the other day, and it's not Arno who said it's in there just to be cool. Arno said he used it because he doesn't care about Christianity and the Western culture. And that's part of the reason why it's here. He said, hey, I don't care about it. It looks cool. So if I fuck it up, it doesn't matter. Because
valid.
Who's going to complain? Like, anime doesn't get shown in the West. Little did he know that 10 years later, you'll be shown it.
Here's a fucking British guy and some corn-fed American fat ass going like, the crucifixion has to mean something.
And it was something. You were right.
And aggressively agnostic. corn-fed American fat ass losing his mind over the crucifixion, trying to figure it out.
Maybe.
Because what I'm seeing is a being on a cross with a spear through their chest.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, I have it paused right here. I'm trying to take all this in. Because already right now, like this goes beyond like a being with their arms out and the Christ imagery that is evoked through that.
Yeah.
Like they're actively nailed to a cross with a spear. Like we've gone to the point where like a spear of destiny is involved, like lancing a Christ figure.
Not quite past the point. It literally is the point.
Yeah. Well, I meant like we've crossed the threshold of like vague Christ imagery to this is a tableau of the death of Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
The cross. So like that alone, I'm having like, whoa, okay. So like the aliens might be Jesus in some way.
How kind of right he was.
No, kind of. Oh, the half-rightedness of all of this is deeply fucking funny.
You know, it's like I'm trying to figure out.
I haven't spiked the camera yet, though. So I'm just sitting there watching you process it. To be honest,
I'm trying to.
I purposely went for a trailer that's not giving a lot away.
That feels like you're tripping balls.
No, because there are worse trailers for that. But I thought it's a nice. It was a simple trailer for what this is.
Yeah, it's a nice little taste. I'm trying to figure out. Was
it a nice little taste, Jarod?
They seem like plucky teens.
Yeah.
It's the typical. Were they plucky teens? Teens, yeah.
They're
One's plucky, maybe.
I think plucky teens might be my biggest L. Truly.
Yeah.
I think plucky teens is a bigger L than robots. Because like robots, at least the visual language is there as an excuse. Plucky teens, I missed the mark on that so fucking hard.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is plucky teen child soldiers might find out that monsters/aliens are victims when they were portrayed as monsters to them, like they were an antagonizing force. They are being transgressed against, and Glasses guy is like some type of conniving villain, pointing them in that direction. And these kids will have to like use the weapons of
not too far off.
You're way off. Absolutely way off.
I'm not far off on Gendo.
I mean,
like engineering a lot of this,
the oppressor to like save the alien Christ figure is kind of how I'm feeling. It's kind of like it's like this is me like trying to like infer just based on visual language. Like Glasses guy is framed in a very sinister way, and one of these beings is on a cross. Like I'm watching one of them be literally crucified, while Glasses guy seems very sinister. And I see one of these mechs fighting a monster alien dude. So I am inferring that we will learn more about these extraterrestrial non-human beings, and that it will reframe this conflict for us.
I want to know what like for sense I went stop calling them aliens.
A monster alien dude. So I am inferring that we will learn more about these extraterrestrial non-human.
This is what I'm going to tell you right now. I don't remember what went through my mind. I think at some point my brain went, but the aliens in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull aren't actually aliens. They're pan-dimensional beings. So maybe they're from a different dimension. And I put that little caveat there as a little bit of CYA, which is even funnier.
Beings. And that it will reframe this conflict for us, the viewer, and view them in a more sympathetic light.
That's a fascinating direction for the show. Fascinating direction. I still stand by that. Fascinating direction.
Don't
Completely
actually answer
wrong.
that question.
I'm not going to answer anything.
I'm sure anybody who's seen the show is either cackling, and who's watching this who has seen Evangelion is either laughing their ass off at me or their jaw is in their lap that I no-scope this whole shit.
Yeah. If people know, don't say any spoilers in the comments.
The hubris that he thinks he
Where we're
knows
at that time.
No.
I won't look at anything. I'm not even
They-
episodes once they're out.
Good.
Because even if somebody's like, oh, can't wait for like very, very well meaningly, I don't want you.
They're the worst spoilers, I find. Oh, I can't wait for you to see this XYZ part. Like, shut up. They're the worst ones going. Like, why? Because then you're sitting there waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
As well managed as they might be,
I've gotten better at that. I know sometimes my girlfriend, who I'm actively showing the Clone Wars to, we just started season 5, and she has. I'm hoping she's not.
So you're finally at the good bit then.
There's so much good throughout it. We're also watching a great.
I mean, from season 3 onwards, yeah.
There's some great shit in season.
I still stand by that. But
Malevolence, all the Cad Bane stuff.
I might have fallen asleep at that point.
You mean the third episode?
No, I mean the third season.
Anyway.
Season 1 and 2 are. But there's so many Clone Wars episodes.
No, and I when the trailer for Tales of the Empire dropped, I sent her an all caps text message: "New Star Wars trailer show. Do not fucking watch it." Where's that? This week?
And it didn't give me the option. It just decided to be like, "Oh, we're shutting down." I was like, "No, you're not."
Did get into Evangelion?
We said it right, everybody, or at least how I've always said it.
Okay, I mentioned that I was doing the show. And
yeah, I still
How did you
apologize.
deflate Armin?
Well, Armin and I texted about it.
You had a voice message about it. I saw that.
Oh, I did send a voice message. Why? No, I've only ever said Evangelion because that's how I've heard other people say it. I've heard other people say it that way. And when I was talking to my girlfriend today, she was like, "What are you doing with Mitch again?" And I was like, "Well, we're doing the show. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a showing me the thing for the first time, talk back type thing about Evangelion." And then she questioned my pronunciation, and I was like, "I have always heard Evangelion."
Yeah.
She said, and she said, "I've always heard Evangelion." So I was like, "I think it's a soft G, but that is just been
The soft G is the Gellion. The hard G is the Gellion.
Either way, I've always said Gellion.
Same.
So yeah,
But yeah.
I'm pumped.
Good. Because I'm excited for this.
If I had to start putting money on stuff,
Oh. What a way to get to it. Wow.
Glasses Guy cannot be trusted.
Okay.
Glasses Guy cannot be trusted, and maybe the creatures.
The sun will rise.
Pathetic, but there will be some type of divine allegory. I don't think you put somebody on an actual crucifix with a spear sticking out of their belly.
Yeah.
Don't actually go some direction with that iconography. If I am wrong that there is zero Christ allegory, like I will shave my beard I will live shave my beard on the Nerd Academy Podcast YouTube channel.
That's fair.
Like,
Oh,
right
Jarod.
now, there's zero. And if there's like a direct one, if I cannot feasibly argue one that exists in the text, I will do it. But like, I feel like there has to be some type of Christ allegory. It would be bizarre if there isn't.
Would
I
you
could
count the
argue
Messiah as Christ?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you're fine. You don't have to go beardless.
I was looking for the trailer for some reason. I was wondering why it's done. I was like, "Oh, yeah, my computer is stuck."
Yeah. If you come into the StreamYard after something sent, it doesn't show up.
Yeah. Today I learned. Oh no, you have, I think, a more fascinating take on where it could possibly go than other people I've got into it before.
What is the takeaway other people have had?
Not a
from
lot.
that trailer?
Not a lot, but nothing like that. I think people just see the giant robot and go, "Oh, giant robot, cool." That's where we're headed.
So, giant robot, cool.
I think might be an intention, but
I spend too much of my life making fun of people who refuse to get into deeper meaning for my brain to stop at giant robot cool. Like, don't get me wrong, the giant robot cool part of my brain is very active.
The irony that giant robot cool is what you got hung up on the most. And completely missed.
Like, analysis, give me the goods, give me a metaphor, That's where I have a lot of fun is getting into that stuff. It's like that meme has been the meme that in my opinion ruined Star Wars discourse forever. Is the one where people are talking about the symbolic meaning of Luke's outfit in Return of the Jedi, where it's like the
I've litigated that a billion times.
and it infuriates me. And it's like, no, that's not being an English teacher. That is called metaphor. And it's not, your English teachers did not imagine deeper meaning in fiction. It's meant to be there. It's interpretive, yes. But,
I don't know. When they're talking about curtains being red, then I have to question how much is imagined at that point.
the curtains are blue, and it means something. It all means something. And even if it doesn't mean anything from the authorial intent, you can still extrapolate things.
I mean, sure. Which is
visual language. I am a strong proponent. I am 50-50 death of the author and 50-50 like the author matters,
Yeah.
But
well, I'm going to say, because we're coming to the end of this, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this show.
He did eventually.
listen, man, my favorite things are equal parts edgelord bullshit and like sincere reflection.
Yeah.
The things I love the most are those two things.
Do I say what I was going to say, actually? Actually, no, I'm going to. There is one specific bit. It's not in the main series itself. It's in, like, the first movie.
Okay, first movie.
Which, I'm not going to say.
Technically the second
But
movie.
this one specific bit might be one of the worst things you'll ever see.
Oh.
Was I right or was I wrong?
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Like, genuinely, one of the worst things.
Really,
I've ever seen. It's just like a make or break point for people. You'll get that far, and it's like, you know what? No.
Well, I am looking forward.
Ironically, it's right at the end.
looking
You go
forward
for
to
the cookie cup then.
I think I was expecting some act of like vicious, brutal, visceral violence.
I mean, you got that as well.
I did. When I heard you were like, there's something so fucking terrible. I was like, oh, like someone gets like filleted alive or something, or maybe that crucifixion scene is fucking
No. The Ben Kenobi pop looked like it was turned around on my camera, and I was making sure to move forward
Why is it moving?
because I tapped the shelf by accident.
Oh, I depth perception on the camera. I didn't see you tapping the shelf.
I
I saw the point and
yeah.
it started doing this. I'm like, that is either a very wobbly wall or
I'm using the force.
there's some haunted stuff in that place.
No, it's in that guy. It's all concentrated there. It's not going anywhere.
Oh, continuity.
Continuity.
So yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. And I'm glad you said yes to it, to be honest.
I'm glad I said yes as well.
Yeah, because everything you just said then, I was like, are you still glad? There's a lot to.
Oh, absolutely. That was the first 15 minutes of this episode was me saying how happy I am and needing to make sure that despite the bit, it is abundantly clear I love this fucking show.
Chew on. There's an awful lot to chew on with each other.
I'm ready to like have a. I'm ready to be taken to class. My whole thing is the Nerd Academy, and I'm ready to take a class myself now.
Good. So yeah, I think with that we're going to bring this first episode to a close. The 0 episode, or to reference a meme. You know,
How naive he looks back then.
The little butterflies.
Oh, is that where that means from?
No, that's not from this. No, I was just referencing the meme because it goes with the episode title, right? Is this Neo Genesis? If you see the guy in the thumbnail, you know I changed the thumbnail the last minute to put him in there. So yeah, we will be back. I was episodes.
Okay.
So 26 episodes, 5 movies. Technically 6 one's a recap. You haven't got to worry about that one. That one's all over there. Yeah.
Technically 7 to a recap.
But all of this story is bundled into 1 season and 5 movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in terms of continuity, they line up like that.
Yes.
You're a fucking liar.
They do.
The amount of times you've been like, have I ever lied to you, Jarod? And
that is not lying. That's not lying in the slightest. It literally follows on from me.
You're technically telling the truth.
So shut the fuck up. No.
But
No, there's no buts.
But it's show, movie.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to do this along with us, the series and the first movie are on Netflix, and then you have to jump over to Prime for the last 4 movies because Netflix refused to spend more money.
That's so funny because October and November, my girlfriend and I finally got into Saw. And that is exactly the issue we ran into.
I was at the same with Saw.
It is almost the exact same with Saw. That it was like we got through the main movies, and then like the most recent 3 or 4 were all on Prime. No, we haven't seen 10. We haven't seen Saw 10/Saw X or whatever it's called.
I assume it's 10.
Have you seen Saw 10 now?
No, it is 10, but it is using Roman numerals, so I can't tell if they're doing Mortal Kombat X because it's cool and edgy, or if they're actually just calling it.
I don't think Saw's ever used numbers.
It does. Saw 2, Saw 3. Some of them have
1, 2, and 3 are numerals, aren't they?
Oh, you mean like using Roman numerals?
Obviously they're numbered, but I don't think they've ever actually used the actual numerical.
I think they just. I mean, at least in the key art that's on. I'm sorry, I lied. It's Hulu, not Netflix. The bunch of them are on Hulu, and then we had to jump over to Prime. But at least in the key art they have on Hulu, like there's something in the wall. Immediately was like,
this is classic.
I was like, I need to write my Kenobi season 2.
Okay, I think that's all for that. But
so I'm pretty certain that was all of it. Yeah.
I got very enthralled by how do I over explain the key art for the Saw movies on Hulu? But oh, that's funny. I mean, it wasn't too far off. I mean, there's obviously big idea things that I could never have understood, but
you know, you should have known you weren't too far because everyone kept saying like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like, "Oh, your theories are interesting." Then that just became my bit for saying like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
And again, that's interesting. Truly to me, I heard that as you're so far off the mark.
No. I use that every time you were right.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. It's funny as fuck that he took it the other way. Because I thought I was being really bad with it. Like, that's interesting.
No, I mean, I default to, fight on your feet, kid. Like, immediate pivot,
Also, I can't believe that once did you ever catch me like spiking the camera when you're right. I'm just like,
I made a point to not look at you. I'm not even kidding. I made a point not to look at you because I did not know how emotive you may or may not be.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So especially because I'm trying to think.
I do try.
I think at one point I did have the StreamYard here. I don't know why I remember that because normally, as I've said before, there's a monitor right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because some people have noticed that, like, whenever somebody's speaking, I look as though I'm completely staring off into the void and not looking at the camera. Yeah. And it's because I completely lock in on the person speaking whenever they're taking their turn to talk. And I think at some point I made the executive decision of to not poison the well. I need to avoid looking at you.
That's fair. That's fair. I do the same thing. That's fair. Yeah.
And I think there were some moments where if I did catch you doing that, I again went, oh, he thinks I'm very funny because I'm so wrong.
No. Well, it was a bit of both, really. It's just like, he's got that one nailed down. Ow. I don't know. But yeah, you got your little Messiah Christ allegory.
Yeah. Very roundabout
Jewish,
way.
But Christianity.
Yeah, nowhere near as direct as it would be, but
I mean, the Chamber of Guff is empty. A child is born without a soul, which means the Messiah arrives. They save the world. It's literally end of Evangelion.
Yeah.
And the start of Eva. No. It's literally the entire plot of the series.
I got there eventually. I think we have one more order of business, and that is for me to shift over and fully hybridize my EC skills and try to apply it to NGE.
Yeah. You know, good old Marv, faithful listener Marv. For some reason, a Mari stan, and I don't know why. Which you surprised me with Mari. Very much surprised me with Mari. I was like, this girl has nothing and does nothing, and nothing's ever explained. Like,
do you think maybe there's some level of Stockholm syndrome that made me latch on to Mari? That there was just some level of, you know what?
I think
I don't care. You just have a gun and you like to shoot. I love you.
I think it's the repressed degeneracy.
All right, give me the fucking trivia quiz. God damn it.
See, he knows deep down. Only degens like Mari to that extent. But the first 10 are all true or false? True or false? The angels are actually celestial heavenly beings. Celestial / heavenly beings.
The angels are.
That's what he put. That's what good old Marv put.
Well, they're descendants of the Far. So they themselves are born and created terrestrially, but they are descended from the Far. So their, no pun intended, Genesis is on Earth. So I will say false, but
I'll be honest, this one I would have taken it either way.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know how to answer that one because
it's tricky because it's like you can. It's just the whole wording of it, like celestial or heavenly. It's like, well, they technically come from that one. No.
Yeah, well, they come from, but like their point of origin, they are created on the Earth.
Yeah.
So like this is no shade to Marv. Like this is a question I would challenge in EC. Like no, that is when I would burn a challenge on that and argue with Eli until I'm blue in the face.
Well, when he makes a comment in the comment section, keep an eye out for it. I might pin it. No.
Okay. What was it? What was the correct answer he put?
He doesn't actually give me the answers.
Okay.
Because obviously I know it.
Yeah.
Right. The Evangelions are clones of the angel Lilith, true or false?
Clones of Adam.
Is that your final answer? You going with false?
False.
I'll give you that one because technically the plural, the Evangelions, are Adam. So it is false. Only one's left.
Oh, okay. I understand. Okay. Ooh, God. The wording of these questions. Oh, God. Now I feel like I'm in an EC match because I'm like,
see, the wording of the question, it goes with the show. It goes with the show. You got to think outside the box, Jarod.
Okay.
Right. The soul of Unit 0 is Kyoko Zeppelin. Saw you. I'll put that on there. True or false?
Kyoko Zeppelin?
Fun fact, that family is named after boats.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The
soul of Ava Unit 0 is Kyoko Zeppelin Soyu.
False.
That's correct, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm like, I've never heard that goddamn name before.
No, you wouldn't, but that is Asuka's mum.
Cool.
Also, Unit 0, right?
Yeah.
Right. All the Christian imagery scattered throughout the entire series was all just because Hideaki Anno believed they just look cool. True or false?
True. Fucking true.
No, because he didn't say that.
Well, before we started, you made a joke about...
I said that is because it looks cool. Arno says other stuff along with that. It's not just because it looks cool.
Okay. God, the wording on this, Marv, we're going to have a conversation.
No, that was me. That's me. I'm picking that one apart. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to skip this one because it's about the Shin Japan Heroes Universe crossover.
Oh, God. Canon. We watched that the other day. It was so funny.
It's just like, no, it's not canon. After doing the contact experiment with Unit 2, Yui Ikari hangs herself. True or false?
False.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
She's caught in the blast.
No, she's not. She doesn't do the experiment with Unit 2, Jarod. It's Unit 1.
Oh, I heard Unit 1. I heard Ikari and went 1. And okay.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't go boom. She just gets absorbed in the
core. They talk about it like it's a blast, but yeah.
Ava Unit 2 was the Ava that was destroyed by the dummy system controlled Ava Unit 1. True or false?
Unit 2 was destroyed by Unit 1 while it was being occupied with the dummy system.
That's the question, yeah.
Okay. I was making sure I got the cadence right there. False.
It's correct, yeah. In the original series, after Ava Unit 1 consumes a 10th angel, Shinji is not in the Ava's entry plug. Misato does not grieve over his supposed death. True or false?
I mean, she goes apeshit trying to recover him, but she kind of puts on a brave face, so true.
See, the wording here got me. I'll give you that one. No.
Okay.
She doesn't technically agree with him, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, she does.
She's very clearly grieving on the inside, and like her strategic acumen kind of goes out the window, but okay.
In Japan, the theme song, Cruel Angel's Thesis, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the actual Japanese name for it. I'm too white for that. It's considered one of the top songs from the 90s. Like, it's still considered one of the top songs.
True.
That's correct, yeah.
Hell yeah.
That song, bang, it's a generational bang.
Fucking love that shit.
The in-story time jump between the rebuild, he says 2.0, it's 2.22 and 3.33 is 20 years. True or false?
14. True, false.
Well done, yeah. You even got precise with it. Well done. That hit me right here. Put a smile on my face. Right, here's a multiple choice. What is the town or prefecture of Japan that the entire Evangelion franchise takes place in? Tokyo 3, Hakone, Osaka, or
Tokyo 3.
There you go, yeah. Hokkaido is what I meant to say, but I couldn't spit it out. Who is the nerve technician that is mainly considered as Dr. Akagi Ritsuko's assistant? Aboa Shigeru, Akagi Naoko, Hyuga Makoto, Ibuki Maya, Kitakami Midori.
I'm going to be honest. I never caught their names. I love all of those characters. I never caught their names.
I'll give you a fun fact. I don't think they ever name. They never give you their full names. But it's Maya.
Okay.
Because it's literally the only other girl. Unit 0 throws which spear at the angel? Ariel. Spear of Gaius, Spear of Cassius, or Spear of Longinus?
Longinus.
Oh, well done. How many branches of nerve are in the world? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
Are there in the world? Saying 4? Is that what you said?
In the show?
In general.
Okay, I'll go 3.
3 is the right answer.
Okay, because I know they have another facility in Japan.
Yeah, you got the Japanese branch, you got the European branch,
And then
the American branch.
Yeah. Well, my thing was I was like, okay, are we talking about like branches or like bases of operation? Because I know there's more than one branches inside of Japan. Okay.
Yeah. Misato takes in which pilots to live with her? Ikari Shinji, Ainami Rei, Asuka Langley Soyu / Shikanami Langley, or both A and C?
Both of them.
I assumed your answer was D there. That's fine. Because both to 4 different people is...
There were so many names that were like, I was like, it's Asuka and Shinji. Fine.
Gendo Ikari usually appears in what most mainstream pop culture journalism lists? Obviously outside of the show. What list would you think Gendo
I'm assuming it's the Watch Mojo top 10 worst anime parents or whatever.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, yeah.
What's the answer that is...
A, worst fathers in anime. B, worst fathers in anime. C, worst fathers in anime. Or D, worst fathers in anime.
Do we know where he ranks on that list? Did it say number 1?
I'm pretty certain he is, yeah.
At
least the last time I would have looked, it was number 1. If
he's got to be on Rushmore at least.
Oh, definitely, he's got to be. Right, short answers for the last 2. Now that you have watched the original series, The End of Evangelion, and the rebuilds, what is your take on the TV series ending the final 2 episodes and its connections to The End of Evangelion and Thrice Upon a Time? So 3.0 or something.
Well,
how do you feel about the whole looping?
I think it's really cool. I think it's very inspired, considering that, for lack of a better term, it does kind of turn into a multiverse story. Again, for lack of a better term, that's gross oversimplification. But I think it's a very inspired choice. I very much subscribe to the idea that we kind of posited that the final 2 episodes of the show and the film End of Evangelion are basically a look at the same event, just one from the micro and one from the macro. And that the rebuilds are in turn a kind of reframing of the original show as like the cycle has begun again. And we are now, that's why the characters are more developed. And by the time we hit the rebuild, is that some of those lessons they learned have stuck in their previous lives. I think this angle of reincarnation is very, that's a theme that I don't feel qualified to tackle quite yet. There's a reason why it has suspiciously not come up from me, is that, I don't quite know how to explain my feelings on that specific element, but this idea of death and rebirth, I think, very much reinforces the big picture idea that life is beautiful and complicated, and that if you have the opportunity to restart multiple times, it gives you the opportunity to do right by the people around you. And that there is value to life, and that there is always time in this life or the next to make good on and make right any transgressions you regret.
Good answer. I like that answer. And the last one is what I was going to ask at the end of this anyway. To put it in the short term, do you think this is new watcher friendly?
No.
In your perspective, having it be your not first one, because it's not even your first one.
No, I mean, and that's the thing, though, right? Is that I don't know. I'm about to say something, and I'm going to put about 13,000 caveats on it the moment it leaves my mouth. The anime that I have cut my teeth on up to this point are very simplistic fare. That is not to say that there is not a lot of, there aren't a real lot of powerful themes and ideas in characterization in stuff.
I mean, Dragon Ball is just about trust. Like, that's all about trust, and it fucking runs with it for 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, and my hero, the Indomitable Spirit and the hero's journey. I've watched 85% of Code Geass, which is a story about absolute power and how it corrupts absolutely. Death Note, like a show I have seen the whole way through. Like,
well, that's off the list then.
Yeah, I thought that came up before, but what did
you think of the ending of Death Note? Just quickly,
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Again, it's another story about absolute power. It's also, I think, a story about the way that those who cultivate power are the ones who are the least to be trusted with it, and how that Malthusian instinct to become the master of life and death, that cycle will never end. I think it's why I like Ryuk kind of getting to kind of preside and kind of laugh about the whole situation of like, it comes for all of us. The masters of death are those so deeply entwined with it that they think they can now avoid it. But again, a lot of those, even when they go to really complex psychological places, there is an element of them that I don't think is quite as complicated as Neon Genesis Evangelion. No. And, and I don't think there's anything quite as complicated as it. I think that it demands the attention of its viewer in a way that is very hard to work around. Again, I think that there are really beautiful and complex interpersonal stories being told set against a backdrop with unforgiving, hard science fiction. So on that level, I think that if you're going to show this to somebody as their first anime, I think a prerequisite to pull that off is I need to know you can keep up with hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
I would be very excited to show Neon Genesis Evangelion to Joel Basenbach, one of the old head TNAP founders, because he lives and breathes by Dune. Mike Doling, another TNAP person. I would love to show this to him because he lives and breathes by Dune. I do not think
they're cultured.
I do not think that they would get as freaked the fuck out by just, boom, 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 boom. You confused? Fuck you. Boom. With all of the gobbledygook that's getting thrown at you. I don't think that they would fall victim to me kind of getting hit with that smoke screen the way I did. So on that level, I don't think it's new fan friendly. Do
you think the rebuilds are new fan friendly? This is an interesting part of the question.
Do I think the rebuilds are? I think the rebuilds, I think they're 90% new fan friendly. I think it's a very streamlined version of the show for the first half of it. And then you get a very interesting reinterpretation of how it ends. But by the time you hit what might be the big emotional beat of the final film, I think you walk away with like kind of an empty basket because you can't appreciate the devastating beauty of Kaoru lamenting the fact that, you know, it's happened before, it'll happen again. Like, I think it carries so much more weight if you're familiar with the show, with the
100%, yeah,
the story. So do I think it is friendly? Yes. And if they say that, oh, I really like this, I would say double back to the show before you show them the final film. In fact, I think there might be an argument. You know, I am a big hater on Machete Order or for Star Wars, you know, where people love to do the whole like, oh, just like
I hate any order other than an initial release.
Chronological is fun for a rewatch, but if you're showing it to somebody for the first time, you go release order. But like this whole idea of like watch Attack of the Clones, watch Revenge of the Sith, watch A New Hope, then Empire, then Revenge of the Sith, then Return of the Jedi, I think is probably fun if you're doing it just for yourself. Skipping Phantom Menace is a dog water idea. But other than that, I think you could maybe apply that to Evangelion. I think that if somebody is able to go, wow, like I really like these first two movies. No, I'm saying like if you're able to sell somebody in the first two movies, then take them back through the show. And even end of Evangelion,
maybe
like talking about, and I'm just saying that in terms of like the utility of showing somebody the rebuilds first. As I think it would be a great litmus test if somebody is down to clown with this story and these ideas. And if they are, you could get an interesting experiment of going, cool, glad you liked it. Let's watch the show, and then get them through the end of the show and then watch the final two films, because that way somebody has already had their buy-in and you can still then prime them for how impactful the end is. But I think that is as far as I think I can fully sign on to the idea of the rebuilds being used as an entry point.
Yeah. So I don't know how I'd feel about that. But I said I don't like doing anything other than release order. So that would be
valid.
That'd be a hurdle for me to overcome. So.
But yeah. Do I think it's new anime person friendly? I don't think so. I think it's too heady. I think it goes like I do really think there is value in starting somebody small. You know, I say small.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I say small, like a lot of these iconic franchises aren't like billions of episodes long. You know, like One Piece is having a cultural moment that's super long, but I think you can get them hooked on it if they're familiar with like its ideas and its iconography. You know, I think My Hero is a great entry point, because it was my first real anime.
My Hero works on two levels because it's a really good way for like animes onlys to like get a taste of superhero stuff, but it's a really good way for superhero onlys to get a taste of anime stuff.
Exactly.
Weird middle line.
Even if it's like a baby nerd, and you know they've seen like a handful of Marvel movies, like and just by cultural osmosis, they know the format of a superhero story enough to buy in. And again, I think that idea of buying in is so crucial, especially because like these shows, all of them are inherently a slog. They're not in a negative way. There is just so much to get through.
Oh yeah. I think at the minute they're having a shortened episode count though. A lot of stuff at the minute's 12, as opposed to like 24 a season.
And that might help as well. That might help the case as well. But yeah, that would be my take. I just think that, you know, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here by any means. You know, most of this show has been everybody laughing at me being utterly befuddled. But like, you know, in the name of being honest and mild navel gazing here, like Mitch tagged me in because he knows I'm good at watching things.
I was wrong.
He was wrong. It's all been a facade. I've just, you know, I'm that guy.
You said yourself several times though. So I thought I was good at watching things. I missed that.
I'm a fucking fraud. But,
Straight off the bat as well. First episode, one episode deep, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Yeah, but I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at understanding big ideas. I think I did a pretty good job of eventually getting out of being lost in the sauce of all the sci-fi gobbledygook.
I think when you hit the multiverse bit, that's kind of the turning point, right? Well, the fifth dimensional being that is that one angel. It's like, it's cool sci-fi stuff. I think there is a moment. I do think that was the moment I said, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore." And zeroed back in where I was supposed to be. But I don't think it's a new person. I don't think it's new person friendly. But when somebody, I think, puts in the hours, and I think you need to be a specific person as well.
There's that. There's absolutely that. I
enjoyed this show.
And again, I joked in episode 0, I'm 50-50 big ideas and theme and, lightsaber go burr, big robot go boom type shit. And, I think that the other drawback with a lot of anime, again, speaking as the titular noob, there is a high bar of entry in the way that I think a lot of anime fans get hung up on action and get hung up on spectacle. Again, it's a very outsider perspective.
No, it's true. It's true. A lot of that is, no shade at Dragon Ball.
I think that is part of it.
The catalyst of that. No.
And I say that as somebody who again, 80% of their experience with Dragon Ball Z is through fucking video games. I'm part of the problem with Dragon Ball. I am not I am throwing rocks from a glass house right now. My shit is from video games and Dragon Ball Abridged, man. I cannot talk any shit here. That said, I think that if you have somebody who is primed on a My Hero or a Dragon Ball or a lot of that shonen action-driven stuff, this show is kind of dry in that way.
Oh, yeah.
It was a culture shock for me where, yes, there is a monster of the week element to this show. It is very much that's not why we're here. It's a vehicle. And where in something like a Dragon Ball and something like a My Hero, the fights are a culmination of the themes.
Yeah.
It's very Star Wars in that way of, you've kind of you swam in these ideas for so long that once we reach this climactic battle, it is a manifestation of it. That's not the point. The point that the fights are just are vehicles with which to subject these kids to more and more of the trial and tribulations they have to face. So yeah, very long answer to that question.
Yeah, considering you say short answers, that's fine. I'll let you off. But I'd say Jarod passed. I say Jarod passed. Marv might fight me on that one, but I say Jarod passed. You watch, I got an answer wrong myself, and he was going to call me out on it.
Well, seeing as Marv went to the Eli Kaplan Packer School of Trivia Question Writing, boy, do I have a gig for him.
God,
that said, with nothing but love for both Eli and Marv. But yeah,
Eli, even though he's clearly got it out for you. Wow.
Hey, man.
Wow.
I am the main character of Epic Confrontations. It's so fun if I don't face any uphill battles. That is an internal comment that has been made, by the way, that I have played into.
It doesn't surprise me.
No. And I'm no longer the main character, as can be seen by the fact that I haven't had a match in months, but stay tuned. I'm 90% doing a bit right now. I'm doing bits on bits on bits, and I'm completely blurring the lines between reality and me making jokes.
Bitception. No.
Bitception. Mm-hmm. But
I was trying to combine Bit and Shrek, but I couldn't do it. It's like an onion. There's layers.
There is.
Yeah.
Mitch?
I think, Jarod.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. There was a point, I'll be honest, I was like, this motherfucker's not liking this. I was wholly convinced there's going to be like some blowout.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like I said, any gripes I think I really had with this show, aside from the things we've litigated 1,000 times, like the fan service stuff, whatever.
The bit you got to get out of yourself for, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and again, I know it's
say that with love
the
and
art form, but and I understand that, but it's an issue I've always had with these shows is that it's just one of those things where like it in many ways it feels like it brings it to a screeching halt. That's what I'm here to talk about. I think most of the gripes I had with this story, with this show, is that is the format of this show. Is the format of the show that we are making right now. Is that I think that more often than not, I would have watched this show in massive chunks.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have watched this at like 5 or 6 episode clips. I think that the moments where I was like this, like I'm waiting for the plot to come back, which was another thing that came up in the why I ran from Evangelion. I'm waiting for the plot to start again. Because
it does take a break. Yeah, there is that. It's in the teens.
And again, it never stops being compelling. It never stops being good. No. I just kind of felt like I was in a holding pattern waiting for the next shoe to drop.
It's because the shows are trying to tell you what it actually is, right? It's like, this stuff's all cool. That's all well and good. But this is the source. Yeah. Right,
but like those two big factors, again, I don't think I quite understand the world. Could have been remedied by me doubling back or me being able to safely Google things at my own risk, where here the point was to keep me sterile and to keep it as here is my first and only reaction to this episode, moving on to the next. Those issues, again, I think are products of this experiment. And then that is very important to me. But again, all our jovial antagonism aside, I am very grateful that you brought me onto this project. I am very, I'm very excited to continue to have my horizons broadened. And I'm very proud of this show, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. And thank you very much for choosing me to be your noob.
Oh, it's all reciprocated, Jarod. Is that the right word? Yeah. Reciprocated? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say something, your brain goes, twat. That was wrong. It's like, oh.
We just watched 40 minutes of me doing that, so yeah.
It's true, we did, yeah. But speaking of format, we are going to play about it a little bit. We're going to talk about it. Just because there's some long things. Not in this show, but in other shows. There's definitely some long things. Some short things as well.
Have we announced what we're doing next, by the way? Like our actual next season?
I can't remember.
Is it okay if I do it? Because I'm the pro.
Go ahead. Go.
So Mitch and I had a little handshake agreement. Neither of us remember if it was spoken on mic or not.
I think we have talked about it on mic, yeah.
Okay. So the next season is going to be probably one of the few times we're ever going to switch sides here. I am going to be showing Mitch as it is anime adjacent. The Star Wars. It's animated. It's done by the guy who did Samurai Jack. If we're gonna call Avatar an anime, I think that Samurai Jack is at the very least a cousin of that. And by proxy,
I don't call Avatar an anime. Fun fact.
I know that you don't. I know that you don't, and I know that is one of those weird points of contention. But since it is at the very least a friend of the family,
it's a phoneme. There you go.
I'm going to be showing Mitch Star Wars Clone Wars, the 2D Tartakovsky miniseries. It is separated into 2 feature-length volumes, as the show was initially aired as 2-minute episodes. On Disney Plus, there is a compiled version of both volumes that basically plays as a really fun anthology movie. Very Legends, very heightened. And I think as a little, again, Mitch and I agreed on that as a little treat because I was feeling very stupid trying to talk about Evangelion at first. And I was like, yeah. And again, I was not as far off as we all thought I was. Or at least I thought I was.
No.
But I got it.
You got a lot of it right.
Like,
You just think of the context of a lot of it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be covering that, both volumes of Genndy Tartakovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars.
That'll probably come out over Christmas.
No, just Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh, is there no "the" in it?
Nope.
Oh,
Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars The Clone Wars are two different television series.
Like the classic reboot with the Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider-Man classic. I like it. I appreciate it. Also, after that, I'm going to announce it ahead. We're going to jump because it's going to come straight afterwards anyway. We're going to do Princess Mononoke from Studio Ghibli.
Okay.
And then, because we're going to take a little break.
Little breaky for us.
Jarod needs to pick himself back up again after this show and these movies. So a little break. Clone Wars will be around Christmas. And then Mononoke will be sometime in January. I haven't decided yet. And then there'll be a little break again. And then on to the next one. The next actual proper series.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, it sounds good. I'm very excited.
I thought you were going to say something more, but...
Nah.
But yeah, so thanks everyone for joining this entire time for 6 months. Everyone who subbed, everyone who comments, Marv, Mick, the lot of you. And we'll be back next time. So, do you want to do it one more time, Jarod?
Have a nice day. And goodbye, Evangelion.
Bye, Evangelion. Hey guys, I just want to say one more thank you to everyone that supported the series from start to finish and supported the channel as well and kept Jarod spoiler free for as long as possible. It's honestly genuinely really appreciated. I really enjoyed it. Jarod really enjoyed it as well. So as we said, we will be back. So remember to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll catch you all next time. So peace.